if man had to be dependent on one thing in history, it very well could be metal objects. I was studying gunsmithing in Colorado in the mid-70s and heard about a fellow that was willing to teach blacksmithing, and that fascinated me, and I went and talked to him, and my real ambition at that time was to build a muzzle-loading flintlock rifle by hand forging all the metal parts. During the day I would work in the ornamental iron shop building gates and railings with this blacksmith, and then at night I would teach his night classes for him while he went to bed. So I was working day and night. But you know, when you're young and you're excited about something like that, sleep doesn't seem to matter. Most of what I do ornamental, functional type work. Wine racks and fireplace tools. Well, you know, I'm the generation that grew up with Fess Parker's, Daniel Boone, and that's been pretty much my whole life. I've always been more attracted to the old ways, which has to be a huge reason why I was so attracted to blacksmithing, because it is obviously a trade that relates to the old ways things were done. You know, I'm just fascinated with old tools and old machines, and old tools, whether they're a flint knife made by a native person. You know, I get thinking more about the process that it was made and what the person was thinking or what they had to work with at that time. And you get envisioning them, you know, maybe sitting around a campfire at night just chipping away at the flint, or I guess I kind of see myself as that type of person in a way, now designing and building things and going through maybe some similar thought patterns in the process. I just like going back and living that lifestyle for a while. I had a state psychologist that took my class one time. I got a Christmas card from him for years after that, because that was his therapy. You know, his job was so stressful, so frustrating. He needed something creative or something positive. He just loved it, you know, and he didn't care how his pieces came out. You know, just heating up the iron and pounding on it, and watching it move and sweating and getting dirty and learning, you know, and visiting, you know, just the talking and asking questions and that sort of thing. It totally took his mind off of life. Another interesting one was a lady probably in her 30s that took the class, and halfway through the week she didn't come back. And so I called her up and she said, "Oh no, I just had this mystique about blacksmithing being this big burly man's type job, you know, and I knew I could do it." And she said after 3 days of being hot and dirty and sore muscles and stuff, I did it, and that's all I needed to do, and I didn't need to abuse myself anymore. I think we've developed for quite a while and still have a real interest in hanging on to the old ways. You have a whole group of people that appreciate things that are made by hand, appreciate things that are made locally. You still have a huge part of society that doesn't act a whole lot differently than our ancestors did 200 years ago. It's just that we have a little different environment to work with. I don't think you'll ever, at least I hope that we never lose that part of society.